anchor products called MGOT. We also won the best mobile application in South Asia this July. That's about me. This is a award photo. So today I'm going to speak about a presentation at the Gap. Mostly I give this presentation to brand owners and brand managers. So telling them in terms of how intuitive and increasingly vital it has become for every company and a brand to have an app of its own. App itself is a multi-billion-dollar market. However, I realized a couple of days back when Jatin asked me to present that this presentation may not be very apt for an audience of this kind. I've kind of altered and made a presentation that is more suitable to students. I'm going to take you to a slightly different angle from what you're listening since morning. So what you've been talking about is technology. I'm not a technology guy. I'm a hardcore sales business development guy. I'm going to throw some light on business aspects of application. I'm going to take you to 9 pointers, split in two of my most topics that I'm most interested in. One is mobile and the other is entrepreneurship. Mobile is big. It's not even big, it's huge. You as students need to understand the potential of the little device that's sitting in your pocket in terms of how important it has become in all of our lives. I say it's huge because of two things. One, the sheer volumes are incremental, and two, the addictability we have on this particular app. Just to give you some surprising figures, what do you see on the left hand side of my screen? Pardon me? And right hand side? So, the global population is close to 6.8 billion people around. How many people would have toothbrush? Any guesses on that? Anyone? Guesses? So there are close to 4 billion people who have toothbrushes. And what is the amount of people who have mobiles? 4.8 billion. So there are people in the world who do not have a toothbrush but have mobile phones. It's not even funny, it's incredibly big. Another example from India. So I was reading an article from Forbes recently which talks about a very surprising aspect. In India, there are 960 million mobile phones, close to 960. And the number of people who have access to private toilets is 400 million. So, half the number of people who have cell phones do not even have access to public toilets, private toilets, sorry. And in terms of frequency, it goes even deeper. An average time a person spends on a smartphone is 2 hours. He looks at his phone 150 times a day, which means during a session of 20 minutes, you all are going to be possibly looking at your phone 3 times. I'm not going to listen to me for 3 minutes at least. Another dependency. So my dad stays in Chandigarh and Delhi. He migrates between the two. I talk to him 3 times a day on an average for a couple of minutes. And this has been happening for the last 3 years. Surprising fact is, I do not remember his number. I'm dependent on the cell phone to store his number. If my phone was lost, I wouldn't be able to call him. I was very surprised about this fact. I googled it and realized that I'm of the larger part of the society where out of 4 people, 3 people do not know their parents' numbers. How many of you guys know their parents' numbers? Oh, brilliant, Karol, man, brilliant. So, what brings to the point that why for you as students, it is extremely important you to embrace mobile. I understand a lot of you guys must be doing web programming for now, right? Any clue on how big is mobile in terms of multiples of web? In India itself, global figures are far higher. I'm talking only India. Any guesses on that blank that I've left? 1,000? Who's that? So, mobile is 960 million. Internet subscribers on web is 120 million. So it's close to 8 times as big. Which what converts for you as programmers is there are going to be 8 times larger number of companies in the mobile domain than in web. So if in Bombay there are 40,000 jobs, there are going to be 8 times the number of jobs on mobile ecosystem. And more importantly, you can still be the best programmer in the world in terms of mobile. The reason I am saying this is pretty simple. How old is Android? What year was it? 2007. No, 2007 was iPhone. 2008 October is Android. Which means it's the first person, the best person, the wisest person who must have created a mobile app just has 4 years of experience. That's too little experience for you to roll up. So technically, if you work hard for the next 2-3 years, you could possibly be the best programmer on earth because the technologies are pretty new. So that there's a lack in experience. So when you talk about web, there will be people with 15 years of experience. With mobile, that may not be the case. That this is your chance to start. You're still an early person in the mobile domain. Grab the opportunity. Second point. So I understand you've taken my advice seriously. You're actually looking at mobile, getting into mobile programming, starting something of your own. What is it that you actually build on mobile? You either build something that kind of solves a real life problem or entertain people. These are the only two kind of apps that runs in the market. So either you find a problem, try to solve it using technology, using an app. You either find a smaller problem that can be faced by a lot of people, like Google Maps. So this is the first time I'm coming to Atharva. What did I do? When I left from home, the first thing I did is Google Maps, where is the server? Smaller problem for a larger set of audience. Let's look at a larger problem for a very niche audience. So there is an app called Sim Fitness. So it's an app for fitness freaks where while you're running, it's a GPS enabled app. It will calculate the miles you run, the calories you burned, gives you analysis in terms of improvement in your health and stuff. It's a $300 app on app stores. It's got 2.5 lakh downloads in the last 6 months. That's like 7.5 crore revenue straight away. It's been started by 2 people and now there are 6 people. So 6 people earning 7.5 crore rupees in 6 months by a single app. That's the power. Or you make entertainment type of apps. Your Talking Toms, your YouTubes. I'll show you some examples of, so these are purely apps that solve a real life problem. So Google Maps, where do I head? Google Maps. WhatsApp, I want to communicate free of cost, WhatsApp. What does Instagram stop? Instagram, I want to look like a professional photographer, I download Instagram. Solve real life problems, small pain points for a larger set of audience. Complete entertainment apps. What is Twitter? So when I'm in lecture, the professor is going, what I do? Angry Birds. Talking Tom. Who's the only person who repeats to my rubbish? Talking Tom. You say, he will repeat. But it's an extremely huge market, beyond imagination. So while you're making something, if you're actually looking at mobile as a serious avenue and you want to do business on mobile, you ask yourself 3 questions. If you have a list of ideas, while you're shortlisting an idea, just ask yourself, is this an idea that is solving a small pain point for a larger set of audience? If no, is it solving a large problem for a smaller set of audience? If no, is it entertaining people enough? If no, then stop making apps. Clear? So app marketing, I believe now you've already made an app marketing. So in today's world, brilliant apps sell by themselves. You really do not need to spend your marketing dollars for marketing an app. All you need to do is embed 2 aspects of it. One is social. Enable your customers to share the app if they like it. Or use PR heavily. So, how did you discover about Angry Birds or a Facebook or a Twitter or Talking Tom or WhatsApp? By friends, right? By friends or by media. Have you ever seen an advertisement of Twitter? Have you ever seen an advertisement of WhatsApp? Not possible. So in the world, we are living in a world of Kolavari and what's this new Korean guy? Gangnam style. Where things go viral. So if you're sexy, you will sell. You don't need to advertise on it, right? Couple of tips on market. We have a fair share of PR being published by a lot of leading companies. So we don't hire a PR agency. What we do is simply, so in every newspaper, magazine, online site, there are a set of people who cover technology. And fortunately, recently what they've done is they also published the name of the person. Find him on LinkedIn, bug him, take his email ID, and if you build an app which is press-worthy, it will get published. News channel reporters, editors are hungry for good content. Provide them one, and they'll very fairly accept it. So, if you build an app, the next step should be find all the reporters. There are a lot of online forums you can actually market the app. There are at least 1,000 sites will review Android apps. Leverage those. There's never been an opportunity like this where you can an app store to distribute your apps for free and you get a PR as well. Monetization. Here comes the interesting part. How do I make money? How do I pay my hotel bills? So any app in the ecosystem potentially has 3 ways in which you can actually make money out of it. It can either be paid. So you make an app, it's interesting enough, it's driving enough value, you put it on the app store for X dollars, people download it. Simple calculation. Here, there's generally a rev share between the app store guys and you. And the rev share is close to 70-30, where they will give you 30% of the money that you made. And 30% is generally taken by Google, iStore. Similarly, for Indian audience, there's an additional benefit. You can also put it on operator decks. So a lot of these operators, Vodafone, Airtel, these are their own app stores. But the rev share is slightly reversed. They will take 70% of the revenue, they'll give you only 30. But anyway, as an app developer, you should focus on revenues than the rev share. So you don't care about how much the operator or the Google guys are earning. Focus on what you're earning. And the benefit of going with operators is that you directly get access to their millions of customers. So they take pain in pushing your product and marketing your product. Then comes a very interesting model which is free. How do I make money on free apps? So make a kick-ass product, put it on the app store, get traction to it, get the number of downloads, and then people put ads on it. And you make money on ads. So it's very difficult for app developers to go and pitch to the advertisers, right? For which there are a set of companies which are called ad networks, mobile ad networks. So they take the pain of bridging the gap between the app developer and the advertiser. So if you have got a good app, they will bring the Pepsis and the Cadburys to you and tell you that these guys want to place ads on your app, give them a space and they take a small part of your revenue. It's again a rev share model, but it's very interesting. So you possibly would like to make an app only free once you see the usability is high. In terms of if I'm spending a lot of time on the app, it makes to make it an ad supported model. Then there is in-app purchases. So in-app purchase means that the basic version of the app is free for you. However, they try to get you addicted and then you pay for extra levels, extra characters, extra lives. You take virtual money. So that is what in-app purchases. So I'll show you where do you fall under based on what kind of apps are you actually making. Guys, I hope I'm not going monster, right? Clear, right? So here is a two-dimensional graph where I talk about utility on one side. What I mean by utility is how useful the app is for me. And there's the engagement on the other side. Engagement is how much time do I spend on this app. And based on that, you can actually choose a pricing model. For example, let's look at the yellow box. Here, the utility level of the app is pretty high. However, the engagement is low. What kind of apps really fits into this? Something like a mobile phone tracker. So if I lost a phone, I want to track my mobile phone. I don't use this app every day. I only use it when I lost my phone, right? But the utility is very high. I would like this app to be on myself. Then you may get a paid app. So you give a good reason for people to buy apps, put it in the paid apps. Let's look at a blue section. Here, the engagement level is pretty high, but the utility is almost close to zero. So, what's the talking term? It's a useless app. It is of zero utility, but the engagement level is pretty high, right? So, then you make it an app where you put it as a free app, but then support it with ads. So, in India, there are a couple of larger ad networks like AdMob, InMobi, these are guys doing a good job in the ad network space. And then third type of apps, which are high on utility and high on engagement. Something like an app for a magazine or an economist. It's a pretty known, very famous magazines read by most of the entrepreneurs, most of the large guys in the corporates. They've got an iPad app, iPhone app. So here, we're going to use that app daily. So the engagement level is very high because news changes every time. So you want to be using the app daily. At the same time, it's a utility app. It's pretty critical for my business to know what is happening on the outside world. That time you make it a subscription-based app, meaning I don't charge a subscriber one time. I don't take a one-time fee. I charge him on a yearly basis, a monthly basis, or quarterly basis. Clear? So, don't worry, be crafty. So what I mean by this is once you have decided to build an app, just ship it. Here I don't mean that you just build any crap and just put it online and expect people to download it. But don't wait for you to be really perfect in the app store. So if you have a concept, great concept, you build something of substantial value, put it on the app store. The LinkedIn founder very rightly said in one of his latest speech that if you're not embarrassed of your app on the first version of your app, you probably delayed it slightly more. So at any point in time, there are 12 people in the world who are thinking the same idea. This is what Start says. So be the first one to ship it. As soon as you have a good idea, build a reasonable product, ship it. So, 6th point. Let's go through the entire mobile ecosystem, right? Which is the largest operator in the world? Anyone? China Mobile, perfect. Where does it come from? China, obviously, right? Which is the largest mobile handset manufacturer on papers right now? Samsung. Where does it come from? Korea. Wonderful. Largest used mobile operating system? Our favorite? Android. US. Highest Facebook penetration. What I mean by this is a surprising. I'm not sure a lot of people will guess it. Pardon me, sorry, someone? So, it means number of people with mobile phones and are accessing Facebook on mobile phones. Which country has the highest penetration according to you? Nigeria. Surprising. World's most downloaded game? Angry Bird. Where does it come from? Finland. Land of Nokia. Second download, Kaltaro, Russia. Fruit Ninja, Australia. There's also a very interesting game that has come out of India. I don't know how many people have downloaded. It's called Parking Friends. A very interesting gentleman called Alok Kejriwal has launched this game. It's got 10 million downloads already. So what is the point I'm trying to prove out here? The point is very simple. Geography for a large part of us in the app ecosystem has become irrelevant. It doesn't matter if you live in Silicon Valley or Shankar Valley. If you have the balls and the guts to do it and the brains to support it, you'll make it big, irrespective of where you stay. Fail early, fail fast, fail often. So, as entrepreneurs, this is, I'm not embarrassed to say, this is my third venture to first have failed miserably. But failures are their own lessons that you learn from it. It's interesting, unless you try something good, the possibility of you failing is pretty low. So I started a firm in 2004 called WebBetas. I was barely in senior college, degree college. I had some knowledge of Dreamweaver, HTML and stuff. I thought, let's make a web designing company. Brilliant idea. I'll sell websites, people will pay money, and I'll become $1 million person. Challenge. So after some time I figured out only two kinds of people who were buying were either my father's friends or my friends' fathers. So beyond that I could not go, I could not sell. Then I realized, oh, there is a different aspect of business also, there is sales. So I realized you will not be successful entrepreneur unless you have some understanding of the business aspect and sales, right? Second thing, I understood the difference between products and services. It's a very important difference, right? So services is something where you make something extremely customizable for a particular client. you probably will be using only 10% of your code for a different client. Whereas products, you're making a stable product for a larger set of audience, larger set of companies. You can sell the same product with minor modifications to 1,000 different companies. That's like a money-making machine. At the same time, the risks are pretty high. In services, you're assured of the client. So, if I get a contract to make an X software, that is when I start building it. Product, you want to build it and then go and sell it, hoping that it will sell. But in the longer term, if you really want scale, products is the way to go. Products make money even when you're sleeping. So, you put something online, you build a brilliant software with a SaaS model, people go online, pay online. Even when you're sleeping, you're making money. While in service, you require that manpower, right? 2 lessons learned from my first venture. Second venture, SafeKhabri.com. So, it was in 2007 when I roughly launched, 2006, December 2007. The idea was fairly simple. So, I would collate all the information of all the sales and discounts and offers that are happening in Bombay. I'll put it on a website. That time there was no site like this. So, all the e-commerce buzz has come in the last couple of years. I went to a lot of shops. I must have met at least 500 vendors in those 6 to 8 months. I and one of my friends. We used to go to a furniture shop, we used to go to a retail outlet, we went to Levi, we went to everyone telling them, boss, put your stuff online. We're not going to charge you anything anyways. We just want traction to be there. We roughly got 12,000-13,000 users to it. But still not able to make money. E-commerce was slightly early. So one thing I realized is always being early is also not a good advantage. So slightly earlier time, probably will not get the buzz. I closed the site after 2 years, I saw the e-commerce moving and people getting fundings. So I want you guys to repeat or possibly say this way. Don't be a cow, start up. Louder. Wonderful. So even if you don't remember a single word that I've said today, I want you to focus on this one. You at this point in time are living the most beautiful time of your life. The reasons are fairly simple. You have limited liabilities. You don't have a bank loan to pay. Your parents do not expect you to pay your electricity bills, maintenance bills, do not expect you to give money out. At the same time, you're high on ideas, you have all the time in the world, you're high on energy. And fortunately for all of us in the room, we're in a business where we don't require capital investment. To make an app, you can actually make an app, start selling in a couple of days with zero investment, right? Things will not be the same some years from now. The reason is simple. That is the time when you're softly settled in your question job. Your parents are close to retirement, so there is higher dependency on you as a person. You're probably looking to get married, and your chances of getting a good and beautiful bride highly depends on which MNC you work for, right? So, at that point in time, taking a risk, leaving a job, is extremely tough. So unless you you've done a love marriage and you're extremely supportive wife who's earning well, it gets very difficult for you to leave your job and start up then. So, my advice to you is, start now. And even if you fail, there's nothing that you lose. You're actually gaining on both sides. If you succeed, you're living a dream. You're running a startup, you're making millions of dollars. You're getting what you want. Even if you fail, you're probably making the best resume in the world. The reason is this. So I possibly interviewed close to 1,000 people in the last 7 years I've been around, including tech and sales. For freshers, the first page of your resume is practically useless. I'll tell you why. All the objective statements, my career objective, has the word opportunities, growth, challenges, learning. And same for everyone in the batch. So there's hardly any differentiation. Let's come to academics. For a company, if I'm looking for a coder, I don't care really if you're getting a 62 or a 75. People ignore that section. So if you think that you're going to spend extras working hard, getting an 82% which will secure a job, you're living in a different world. Then comes the very interesting part, technologies I know. Most people I have interacted with, write all the subjects that are there in the curriculum from the first year to the third year. That's not why it is meant for. It's meant for putting things that you really understand, that you really can code in. So, for entrepreneurs and people who are recruiting, over a period of time we've learned that the first page is complete crap. So, let's move to the second page, which is where the interesting part starts. So, again, here if you're in your project section, if you've done a library management system, inventory management system and hospital management system in maybe an Access, which even our grandfathers must have done, then you don't have a chance to even come for an interview for getting recruited. Here, if you have written something as strong as I've made an app which has got 5,000 downloads, I've created a website which has maybe 50,000 people registered with it. Even if you fail as an entrepreneur, you succeed as a resume has the highest chance of getting shortlisted. Build something now. If you succeed, it's a success. If you fail, it's still a success. I think these are my 8 larger pointers. These are my contact details. I possibly reply to most mails that are sent to me. I would like to help entrepreneurs who are starting up and stuff. We've done a fair bit of work in this segment. I've got a lot of help while I was starting up. There was one shameless publicity I need to do at the end of the presentation. So one of the apps that we recently created called Agastya. So we felt it's a pretty awesome concept in terms that, so Agastya is a software I request all of the Android developers to download, use it, give the bad reviews to me and good reviews on public. So it's an app that allows you to take control of your mobile app even if you don't have it with you. Meaning, suppose I've forgotten my phone, Android phone at my place, I go to office, I need to call a client. I obviously don't have his number, right? Because they're on my mobile phone. So I can send an SMS command and automatically fetch the contact details of my client. Not only that, there's one more interesting feature. So suppose one of you loses a cell phone out here, which is kept in silent. It's very difficult to trace it, right? Because it's in silent. Even if you call, you're not able to reach the number. It's not going to ring. So remotely using your friend's cell, you can put it on loud. You can check the SMSs that you've received. You can check the calls that you received. So it's a complete panic management system. So even if you've forgotten your phone somewhere, you should not ideally panic. We understand there are certain bugs that doesn't work with some of the HTC models, but anyways, feel free to download. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure here. Thank you. Any questions? Right. Anyone? Yes, yes please.
I'll repeat the question. Let's say I make an app and I try to earn revenues through the advertisements that are coming. I think there are systems for that also. For example, if a person visits my site, I get certain amount of money. There is another system in which it is called as pay per click.
Yeah,
only if a person clicks the ad,
right,
he gets, I get a revenue.
Right.
So can we choose in the Android market? Can I as a dev?
So Android guys do not really put ads on it. So there are a separate set of people who are called ad networks.
And so what's
you'll have to contact these guys. They will, based on what kind of an app you are, they'll actually suggest you what is the kind of potential you have in earning, and they'll guide you through the process. So you can also choose in terms of what is the kind of earning you have, but generally it's a client base. So client really commands that whether I will pay per click or pay per thousand views.
So one more question. Let's say I have a product and it is a product that I want to sell it through Android, but all the necessary details of uploading it, let's say I don't have time. Are they, let's say, all the details of it, or a website that I want to put, are there agencies or are there any middlemen?
You require 1 hour to put an app online, so I'm not sure if you're serious about business, you'll find 1 hour at least. It's a very simple process. I think the registration on Android store is $25, close to $1,000. They'll take a day or two to verify if your app content